There's an invisible giant that powers our modern world. And no, it's not the internet. It's the massive silent network of ships crisscrossing our oceans every single day. So let's dive into the incredible story of the engineering that makes it all happen.
Get this, a staggering 90% of all international trade moves by sea. Just think about that for a second. Everything from the phone in your hand to the car you drive, chances are it spent some time on a cargo ship. You might look up and see, 15,000 planes in the sky, but right now, there are over 38,000 cargo ships sailing the seas.
For decades, the big race in shipping was all about one thing: size. Who could build the biggest ship? But we've kind of hit a wall. See, ships can't really get any bigger. Otherwise, they won't fit through crucial waterways like the Suez and Panama Canals. So if bigger isn't better anymore, what's the new competition all about?
All right, so here's the game plan for this explainer. We're going to explore the new world of ships, look at the blueprint for a true behemoth, see how it's built in these massive pieces, discover its revolutionary heart, watch it all come together from steel to sea, and finally, just appreciate it as an absolute masterpiece of ingenuity.
Okay, so this is where the French shipping company CMA-CGM enters the picture. They set this incredibly ambitious goal. They weren't just going to build the world's biggest ships, they were going to build the world's cleanest and most efficient container ships ever. And this is the key thing, right? The competition has totally changed. The old challenge was just about scale, making things bigger. The new challenge is all about intelligence, efficiency, and being eco-friendly. It's about building ships that are not just massive, but also smart.
And the mission they took on, it was absolutely monumental. They set out to build 9 of these revolutionary ships, powered by liquefied natural gas, in a time frame that just seemed impossible. Only 2 years. To give you an idea of how crazy that is, a single ship this complex usually takes at least 18 months to build. This was a serious race against the clock.
So what does one of these game-changing ships actually look like? Let's get a sense of the sheer scale of this thing by breaking down the numbers. And trust me, they're pretty wild. First off, each ship is 400 meters long. It's honestly hard to even picture that. So imagine 4 football fields laid end to end. That's how long we're talking. It's wider than 60 meters and taller than a lot of famous monuments. A true floating giant. And the weight? Just as staggering. We're talking 70,000 tons. And that's before they even load a single container. To put that into perspective, that's the same weight as about 11,500 African elephants. And what can it carry? A mind-boggling 23,112 containers. If you took all of those containers and lined them up, one after another, that line would stretch for 150 kilometers. Just an unbelievable amount of cargo.
So, the big question is, how on earth do you build 9 of these monsters in just 2 years? Well, the answer is pure genius. Instead of building one ship at a time from the ground up, the shipyard built them in massive pre-made pieces. Let's see how they pulled it off.
The whole process is basically like building a colossal Lego set. First, they cut thousands of steel sheets with incredible precision. Then, they assemble these into huge sections called blocks. Some of them are as big as buildings. And here's the really clever part. They pre-fit all the pipes and wiring into these blocks before they join them together, which saves a ton of time. And the technology involved? Wow. To cut the 12,660 steel sheets needed for just one ship, they use this special laser that heats up to 18,000 degrees Celsius. That's 3 times hotter than the surface of the sun. It just slices through thick steel like a hot knife through butter. Once those giant blocks are in place, an army of welders gets to work. On a single ship, the total length of the welds adds up to 1,250 kilometers. To really understand that scale, if you stretch that weld out in a straight line, it would go all the way from Karachi to Lahore. And every single inch is checked and double-checked, because out on the open sea, there are no second chances.
But look, the ship's massive body is only half the story. The real revolution, the thing that makes the ship so special, lies deep inside. Let's talk about the giant's heart, its groundbreaking power system. So here's the big change. This ship doesn't run on that old, heavy diesel fuel. Nope. It's designed to run on liquefied natural gas, or LNG. And this is a massive win for the environment, a huge step towards cleaner shipping. And the results? Well, they really speak for themselves. Compared to traditional fuel, LNG cuts sulfur dioxide emissions by 99%. It reduces fine particle air pollution by 91%, and it lowers carbon dioxide emissions by a full 20%. This isn't just a tiny tweak, it's a real game changer.
But using LNG brings up this enormous engineering challenge. To stay a liquid, it has to be kept at a freezing cold -161 degrees Celsius. So what was the solution? The engineers built the world's largest LNG fuel tank. It's basically a gigantic thermos flask built right into the ship, and it's big enough to hold 6 Olympic swimming pools worth of fuel. It's a technological marvel that took 9 months all on its own to build.
Okay, so the hull is assembled, the heart of the ship is ready, and now it's time for the final, truly awe-inspiring stage, bringing all those massive, individually crafted components together.
The size of these individual pieces is almost hard to believe. The engine stands 20 meters high. That's like a 6-story building, and weighs over 2,000 tons. Just its crankshaft is 220 tons. The propeller, a single piece of metal, is 10 meters tall and weighs 92 tons. It takes 1 million liters of special paint to protect the hull. And the very last piece lifted into place is the command bridge, the brain of the ship, where the captain will guide this giant across the ocean.
After a year and a half of relentless, non-stop work, the first ship was finally ready. But the journey wasn't over yet. It still had to prove itself in the toughest test of all, the open sea.
And after 15 days of grueling sea trials, testing everything from engine speed to the emergency brakes, the ship passed with flying colors. The shipyard had won its race against time. One by one, all 9 of these revolutionary container ships were finished and delivered in record time.
And you know, this is probably the most important thing to remember. This incredible achievement isn't just about steel and machines. It's really a testament to the intelligence, the skill, and the tireless, round-the-clock effort of the 6,000 workers who turned this impossible vision into a reality.
These mega ships really prove that when we put our minds to a challenge, we can move mountains of steel across oceans in a cleaner, better way. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other impossible things are we on the verge of making possible?